Okay, good evening, everyone. We're continuing with 4 minutes of Mishlei. We're up to Perek Yud Zayin, chapter 17. This is a pretty well-known pasuk. We're going to give the simple explanation and then the halacha that's derived from this pasuk. Loeg l'rash cheref osehu. One who mocks the poor affronts his maker. And then sameach le'ei lo yinakeh. He who rejoices over another's misfortune will not go unpunished. So the simple explanation is, if I mock someone who is a less fortunate than me, that's an offensive thing to do to God. And the second part of the pasuk is like, if I'm able to derive pleasure from other people's misfortune. I think there's a German word for that, Schadenfreude. I don't think you can really translate that into any other language, but you're enjoying someone else's downfall. That's inappropriate, and you too will end up not being clean from that punishment. And I guess you could say in our parlance, what goes around comes around. There's a halacha, fascinating halacha that's learned out from this pasuk. So the Gemara in Brachos Daf Yud Ches tells us that if a person is going to a Beis HaKfaros, a person is going to a cemetery, they're not supposed to go there with tefillin on, and if they have a Sefer Torah, they're not supposed to bring it and read from the Sefer Torah. In other words, in our practice, because we don't wear tefillin all day long, and we don't hold the Sefer Torah with us to learn, but basically you're not supposed to learn Torah in a cemetery. Why not? The Gemara says, because you're a violation of this pasuk of mocking the impoverished. How am I mocking the impoverished? In what way is this mockery? So the explanation is that the people who are there, who no longer are alive, who are lacking a body to do mitzvos, are impoverished from mitzvos. And therefore, we're not supposed to learn Torah in front of them because it's in a way an affront to them, because it's doing something that they no longer can do. And similarly, the Shulchan Aruch in Orach Chaim Siman Mem Hey, he quotes this pasuk lehalacha, and that's why many have the custom of tucking in. If you wear tzitzis out, if you're a male and you wear tzitzis out, so if you go to a cemetery, you should tuck them inside your clothing, as again, not to show, look, I can still do a mitzvah and you can't. So one lesson we can learn from this is we have a tremendous opportunity while we are alive, while we have a body where we can do mitzvahs. There's many stories told of great tzaddikim who were on their deathbeds crying, and I think it's told of the Vilna Gaon, and they said, Rebbe, you were such a holy man. Why are you crying? You can't assume that you're going to, go down there when you go up there. Why are you so crying? So the Vilna Gaon said, because I'm crying because I'm no longer going to be able to put on tzitzis. I'm no longer going to be able to do any more mitzvos when I'm in Shemayim. That's number one lesson. Number two lesson, I heard in the name of Rav Elia Lapyan. He said, we're so careful, and I hope we're careful, with kavod hames. We don't want to put tzitzis over the mace. We don't want to learn Torah in front of the mace. We treat the dead with such sensitivity, with such respect. He said, what about kavod hachaim? We are so careful to be, not to affront the dead, and we want to do their wishes, and it's a very emotional thing, and I'm not trying to encourage you not to do that. You should do that. But Rav Elia Lapyan says, Al achas kama v'kama, even more so, you have a tzelem elokim walking around in front of you, and we insult him, and we don't ask him how he's doing, or at work, we could do worse. But the point is that we should learn from the way we are so sensitive to the mason, to the very assumption or the very appearance of showing that we can do mitzvahs and you can't. We should also be so sensitive to those who are alive, who are feeling, who are in this world, and we shouldn't in any way try to imply or in any way make them feel lesser than.